this webinar, your phone line will be muted. If you have any question, you can post it in the chat window or in the question box. We will take it up at the end. Today, the topic is about Manage Engine High Performance Reporting Engine. And okay, the agenda is a quick look at Manage Engine. What is Manage Engine, and what product portfolio it has, and what is HighPerf Reporting Engine, and what is the business benefit. What is its business benefits about HighPerf Reporting Engine? What are its technical advantage and download options, installation options? We'll walk you through the installation procedure, points to remember, the best practices which has to be followed when it comes to high performance reporting engine, and installation steps, a demo, and question and answer session. So we are from a company called Zoho Corp, which is formerly called AdvinNet Inc. This company has three divisions: WebNMS, Manage Engine, Zoho. WebNMS is about telecom and OEM division, caters mainly to telecom clients, and Manage Engine, which is the IT management division with 50K customers, and it mainly does variety of products: service desk, network management, configuration management, application monitoring, covers all aspects of your IT management, including with bandwidth monitoring tool. The Zoho division is a SaaS division, apps on the cloud, like the Excel sheets, Zoho Docs, the presentations, everything will be on the cloud. And about Manage Engine advantage. Manage Engine delivers the fast ROI in enterprise IT management, and either independent products or acceptance that drives the industry. Either the customer bears the cost as it passed on to him. Manage Engine, all homegrown products, offer maximum and fastest ROI, that is return of investment, for any product. It is an investment and not an expenditure. 3 by every Fortune 500 company uses Manage Engine product. Let us take a look at the high performance reporting engine, which is offered as an add-on module to your existing Netflow analyzer. This high performance reporting engine, it is an add-on to Netflow analyzer in the professional and professional plus edition, and it is also bundled by default with distributed edition. What does it do? Most of the customers use raw data for the detailed analysis. They want each and every flow analysis to be carried out for entire month or an year. Up to now, last release, Netflow Analyzer was able to store only 1 month of raw data, but with this high performance reporting engine, they can store raw data for more than a year, which gives in-depth visibility to their traffic pattern. Better analytical ability, and reports are based on raw data even for longer periods. That is, you can store raw data for more than 1 year. Business benefits of HighPerf Reporting Engine: sharper analytics. That is, you can get a port level information from the raw data reports for even a year. Better streamlining of network bandwidth. That is, you can identify each and every spike happening on the selected time period with each and every conversation, who is using the bandwidth and what port and protocol is using the bandwidth. Those kind of information you can find it for a year. And increased accuracy in traffic analytics. Instead of aggregated report, you can go with the raw data analysis, which gives you in-depth monitoring and identify who is using the bandwidth and what application is using the bandwidth with the complete port level information. Better infrastructure management, forecasting future requisites, like how the traffic is behaving in the past and how it will be in the future. That kind of forecasting, you can do it using the raw data analysis. Optimized usage of network resources and better capacity planning. Technical benefits of HighPerf Reporting Engine: increased raw data storage and This raw data is stored in a columnar database, which helps you to query the reports more quicker in the normal database, which is when comparing to normal database, which is bundled with the product. And shortened lookup time, that is the query generation and the report presentation will be very much shorter. Improved data compression. The raw data is the one which consumes huge disk space, but with this database, the data compression is very much higher, so that the disk space will not be utilized more. And assured minimum downtime. Downloading and installing. There are two options available. Either you can install the HighPerf Reporting Engine on a separate server and connect it to Netflow Analyzer, so that the raw data storage happens on a different server, so that the performance of Netflow Analyzer is not affected. And Netflow Analyzer is a client which is going to query the database which is located on a different server and generates a report. And there is also another option available, a single installation. That is, you can the exe file, the installable file, has a bundled high performance reporting engine, which you can install it on a local machine, and which starts the high performance reporting engine for raw data storage. Includes both the product and add-on in single bulk. Installation of options. Full installation, HighPerf database server and client together. That is, if you're going to install it on the Netflow Analyzer server itself, you have to go. You will be installing the database server as well as client in the local machine itself. And HighPerf DB server. Say, for an example, you're going to install the product on a different server, then you'll be deploying a DB server on a remote machine and DB client on a Netflow Analyzer server in order to communicate these external database. And the points to remember: running HighPerf add-on on a remote machine ensures that the Netflow Analyzer performance is not affected at all. Like, you'll be having a dedicated server for Netflow Analyzer and dedicated server for raw data storage. So the memory and CPU utilization on the Netflow Analyzer server as well as on the database server is optimized, and it is not utilized high. And HighPerf Reporting Engine does not support 32-bit server. It has to be installed on 64-bit machines. And HighPerf Reporting Engine add-on is supported only if your Netflow Analyzer version is 9800 or above. And we have a latest version 9850. If you have 9800 running on your network, you can download the add-on module and install it. If you have older version 9600 or 9700, we'll be providing you upgrades to 9850 or 9860. From then you can enjoy this add-on. Like, you can install it on your network and you can connect the Netflow Analyzer to this database server and store your raw data for as long as you want. An upgrade to 9800 will be required in order to able to use this add-on. That's what the previous point is about. Please ensure that recommended system requirements are met. That will the system requirement will provide you at the end of this presentation. And now I'm going to take up the installation demo and say the add-on module as well as the Netflow Analyzer is available in the website. Say, if you're going to install the Netflow Analyzer on your machine with the high performance reporting engine, the installable file will be like this: manage engine _ Netflow Analyzer _ HighPerf 9850 64-bit exe. And if you're going to install Netflow Analyzer on a separate server and the database server on a separate server, then you have to download this one, Manage Engine Netflow Analyzer without HighPerf Reporting Engine. And you also need to download this MENFA HighPerf add-on 985064.exe. First step is to install Netflow Analyzer. Double-click on the installation file. It guides you to the installation window. And the first step, the installation shield and the license agreement, just press S, that is you're accepting the license terms and condition, and you're going to select the Netflow Analyzer installation path. I'm going to install it on a C drive. Okay, let me choose a different drive. So it gives you a pop-up message that if you have any antivirus scanners, it will prevent the Netflow Analyzer to get it started with the default database Postgres. So you need to make sure that the antivirus scanner are turned off during the installation. And the next part is web server port. I'm going to install it with the default port 8080, and Netflow port is 996, and the language is English. And the default SNMP community is public, and default SNMP port is 161, and manage engine Netflow Analyzer 9 is the program directory, and I'm going to proceed with installation. This is going to install the Netflow Analyzer alone. After that, we have two different steps. One is installing a database server on the remote machine and database client on the Netflow Analyzer machine. So it is extracting the files. This will take some time. Yeah, it is unpacking the Netflow Analyzer installation files. It will take some more minutes. So you have to make sure that the Netflow Analyzer is started at least once after installing the product. And initially, it is initializing the PGSO database, which is bundled with the product. And I'm going to start the product as an application using a command prompt. The Netflow Analyzer is getting started. So it is started now, and you can connect the Netflow Analyzer user interface using the server IP colon 8080 or localhost colon 8080, and the default username and password will be admin. So as of now, the HighPerf reporting engine is not yet installed. You can verify this by clicking on raw data settings, where it will allow you only to store raw data for 1 month. And if you've already installed HighPerf reporting engine, here the option will change. It will show you another 2 options, 6 months and 1 year. So now the next step will be installing a HighPerf reporting engine. For this, the Netflow Analyzer service should be stopped. I'm stopping the application. I'm going to install the database server first. So this installable file corresponds to the HighPerf reporting engine, MENFA HighPerf add-on 9850, which I'm going to install it now. It seems that already in a HighPerf reporting engine running. I'm just uninstalling it, and I'll be reinstalling it back. Nothing green money then coming in. Yeah, in the meantime, we have a question from one of our users, like installing the HighPerf reporting engine would it replace the Netflow database? The answer would be no. The Netflow Analyzer has a default database called PGSQL, which will be used for historical data storage. And this HighPerf reporting engine is a separate database server, and which can be used only for raw data storage. It doesn't store any historical reporting. It is completely for the entire raw storage for all your devices which are being monitored using Netflow Analyzer. I'm deploying this HighPerf reporting engine on a remote machine. First, I'm going to install a database server. So it will ask you a few questions when you go through the installation, whether you're going to do a full installation, that is HighPerf DB server plus client. This option has to be selected only if you are going to install the HighPerf DB server on the server in which Netflow Analyzer is installed, or if you're going to deploy this HighPerf reporting engine on a remote machine, then you have to select HighPerf DB server and click on next, and the installation path would be F, and it is installing the HighPerf DB server now. Once this HighPerf DB server is installed, you have to install HighPerf DB client in order to make a connection with the remote database. Yeah, the HighPerf database reporting engine installation is in progress. This will take some minutes. Yeah, we have a question. The question is, when you request a troubleshooting report in NFA, do you access the HighPerf database or the standard PostgreSQL? Yeah, it's a good question. The troubleshooting report is completely from raw data. And if you have already installed HighPerf Reporting Engine and connected the Netflow Analyzer with that database, then the report will be from the HighPerf Reporting Engine. If you have not installed the HighPerf Reporting Engine, the raw data is stored in the standard PGSQL, then it queries the PGSQL in the absence of HighPerf Reporting Engine. Yeah, the main advantage of HighPerf Reporting Engine, or why we brought this feature into the product, is like we have a lot of requests from our ISP customers as well as the security, the customers who want to do the security analytics using Netflow data. They want the raw data to be stored for maximum at least 6 months in order to use it for auditing purpose as well as for billing purpose. And so using this normal database, the PGSQL or MySQL or MS SQL, storing the raw data to 1 year will consume huge disk space, as well as the report generation time period will be much higher, or there is a possibility of report getting timed out since it is generated from raw data and it has to query millions of tables. So we introduced this HighPerf reporting engine with the columnar database. The columnar database is known for faster querying, and the compression of the database will be much higher. And when you query the HighPerf reporting engine using the Netflow troubleshooting report, the report will be generated in a few milliseconds, and even for a year. So this helps you to store more raw data as well as a detailed analysis for whatever the time period you want. Yeah, the database server is installed now. Now the next part is to be installing the client. So it seems that the client is already installed. So you'll be having 3 options. One is the full installation, that is client plus DB server, and the DB server and client. The points to remember is, if you install a DB server on a different machine other than Netflow Analyzer server, you have to install the client on the Netflow Analyzer server. You can use the same exe file which you used for a DB server installation. Now the next part is to start the DB server. The DB server is already installed. You have to make sure that the service is running. The service name will be vector-wise. Make sure that it is running. It is started now. Now you have to start your Netflow Analyzer. I'm starting the Netflow Analyzer. So it is started now. Connect the user interface. and you have to configure HighPerf Reporting Engine now. So under the admin tab, you'll have advanced settings option where you can find HighPerf Reporting Engine configuration. The DB server, if the DB server is running on a remote server, you have to select remote server option, specify the IP address or the host name, and the Windows username or password or the Linux username or password. It should be an administrator password or the root password for Linux. And if it is running on a local machine, then select local machine, specify the username and password for this machine in order to connect the HighPerf DB server. I'm going to test the connection. Yeah, the connection is success. So I'm going to save the connection. While saving the connection, the Netflow analyzer will push all its configuration to the HighPerf reporting engine, like application names and IP group details will be pushed to the HighPerf reporting database. And once the connection is saved, here you can see an offline button. This will change it to online. Yeah, the connection is success. You can see the HighPerf reporting engine is online. Now the data is going to be stored on the HighPerf reporting engine, the raw data. Earlier, I have shown you that raw data option was up to only 1 month. Now you can see it will be uh, more than 1 year. Uh, the database is online. When you click on raw data settings, you can see the raw data setting is for 6 months, 1 year. So I'm going to select it 1 year and update it. And here is the tabular column which explains how much amount of disk space based upon the flow rate you're receiving, which is needed for HighPerf reporting engine. If your flow rate is between 0 to 500, you need 200 to 400 GB of hard disk space to store 6 months of data. And if it is 500 to 1000, the hard disk space requirement will be 400 to 800 GB, and 1000 to 1500 will be 800 GB to 1.2 TB. This is for 6 months of raw data storage. The requirement will change if you are going to store the raw data for 1 year. And the reason why it takes this much amount of disk space is raw data is each and every flow from the device, and each flow is about 150 bytes. Say if you have 10,000 flows per second, you can calculate how much disk space it will take to store 6 months of data. So I'm going to store it for 1 year, and it is updated now. And this is how the installation as well as the configuration of HighPerf reporting engine has to be carried out. You have to make sure that the Netflow analyzer is shut down while installing the DB server and DB client. DB client has to be installed on the Netflow analyzer server, and if the DB server is running on the remote machine. And the DB client is installed in Netflow analyzer server in order to make and establish a connection with the remote database to store raw data. And moving on to the installation demo is completed, and if you have any questions, you can post it in the questionnaire column. Okay, there is a question, what is the maximum time period raw data can be stored on HighPerf Reporting Engine? As of now, the options available in the user interface is for 1 year, but we can enhance it to 2 years or more than 2 years if you have enough amount of disk space by just doing an SQL query. And there is a question called, how does HighPerf Reporting Engine enhance the capability of Netflow Analyzer? Yeah, that's what we have explained. It helps you to store raw data for more than a year, and it will help you to analyze your network traffic with in-depth information, the complete port level information, source, destination, port, protocol, the TCP flags, everything can be analyzed for a year. And you can identify who is using the bandwidth on a specific spike, which has happened a couple of weeks before or even a month before. These kind of enhancements, you can use it with the HighPerf Reporting Engine. And if you're an ISP customer, you can show it to your customer. These are all your conversation, or these are all the application which you are running during this billing time period, instead of providing the historical top 100 reporting. And for auditing purpose, you can do a security analytics using this raw data storage. Yeah, that is a question. If we already have a Netflow application, do we just install HighPerf Reporting Engine? Yes. If you have a installation 9800 or above, you can just install HighPerf Reporting Engine and connect the database, because this option is available only from 9800. And if you have older version 9600 or 9700 or even the older version, you need to upgrade the product to 9800 or above, so that you can install the DB server on a different server and connect it with Netflow Analyzer. Yeah, there is also another question. Is it mandatory to install HighPerf Reporting Engine on a dedicated server? Yeah, the best practice is to install the HighPerf Reporting Engine on a dedicated server and Netflow Analyzer on a dedicated server, so that the performance of Netflow Analyzer will not be affected. Raw data is each and every flow from the device, and if the flow rate is very high, installing the HighPerf Reporting Engine on a dedicated machine is recommended. Yeah, there is also another question. If I make an application mapping in Netflow Analyzer, it is applicable for historical data or the data which is collected after the application mapping was done in the product. The application mapping will, the traffic classification based on the application mapping which you have done will be only after the mapping is done in the product. The older historical data will not be affected with the new mapping. It will be showing the old mapping, or it only shows the port and protocol with the protocol information, TCP_APP or UDP_APP. Yeah, we have many questions pouring in, and we'll answer the unanswered one via email to the attendees. And if you have any questions about HighPerf Reporting Engine or respect to Netflow Analyzer, you can email us at nfs@manageengine.com, and do follow us on our blogs, forums, Facebook page, and on Twitter. Yeah, looking forward to see you soon in our next webinar. And as mentioned during this call, if you have any questions, just email us. We'll be happy to assist you. Thank you.